Okay, Daniku Mokumapi. My English name is Van Singer. Actually, it's a Van Orman Singer. I was named after a doctor. My first memory of being a kid was actually out here a long time ago. We were living in Raymond. My dad was working for a farmer, and we used to live in a little farmhouse. And I used to see what he used to do back in the day, and I thought that was. And then I used to see guys being hauled out to the fields, and then they'll be working with beets and stuff like that. The first part of like what agriculture was all about. I used to see it as a kid. Cattle, horses, farming, and then and we used to go back and forth back up here. My grandfather used to cut hay around here, and I remember the bunch grass that used to grow here, and actually I really noticed on hot days, if you sit in the grass, that cools you down, because the grass is so thick that it really helps, like just like trees, they filter in CO2 and then they give oxygen. That's how it is, And then now you don't even have that grass anymore. It's just flat out hot nowadays. But anyways, as kids that were growing up, this whole thing about being a residential school really made a lot of kids lose a lot of information. Everything, how we used to live, how we should be living, we lost it in those buildings. It was taken out of us and then just thrown into cities, towns, communities, and stuff like that to fend for ourselves. I finally made it back out here, and then as a kid, we used to go out, and some of the elders would show us like the different plants that we could eat and use, and for medicine and stuff like that. That's how we got to know all this stuff. And it wasn't just our parents, and it was different people like my uncles, my aunts, and just other old ladies that knew what this was all about, used to show us. So that's how we got to know a lot of what we know today. I live in town, but William, my brother, sits in the middle of it, and he sees everything. I come out as often as I can, and I see a lot of changes in the land also. And one of the sad part is like losing our lake right now. Because right now we're missing all the birds, that all the marsh birds and that used to come around here. Used to be the window where you're sitting right now, used to be the bird TV, because the birds used to always sit over here, and then they do their thing, daily thing. You don't see them anymore. And I was showing people like how like this water, like our lake went down before, and it came back up, but it was only at a certain point where it came back. Then after that, it slowly started going down, and you can see the marks where it used to be, how big it used to be. And it goes way back this way to the corner of the road. And partly when we still had our lake, when it was raining pretty good a couple years ago, had that good rain, that place was all soaked over there, and our road moved, it settled downward. So that's how much water it picks up, but now it's just dry. We lost our lake, and then which is sad, because growing up, it's always been here, and it was even fed by freshwater spring before too. But because of agriculture, like a lot of this stuff, a lot of invasive, either animals or plants were brought in here. So those are part of the things that we have to kind of, battle, so it won't take over what's already there. We already have a lot of our plants that are endangered. They talk about, animals being endangered. There's a lot of, plants that we know are endangered. And a lot of them, it comes down to it, majority is poor harvesting practices. And that's one of the main things. All the places that we used to go to, there's nothing anymore. It's just the way people pick them. And same thing, agriculture, cows, horses. Once they lay waste on, these areas, it just kills everything. And they just trample. And I myself, like, I started noticing, sweetgrass, and you have to start going further just to find it. But then quite a few years ago, William was telling me that he was out where a lot of our sweetgrass used to grow. We're having harder time finding them now. And if there's not very much. So all our common places that we have, they're not even there anymore. And the other one is wild turnips. So we're kind of losing all those, and I think partly that's where he started, and we, started expanding all the different other plants that we know, and then what we're learning now too about other ones. But we used to, as kids, we roamed all around this, around these hills, for berries and roots, plants, like it's all out there. And we had visitors come out and dig them and say, like, these are pretty small. They had a hard time fathoming, like, how much we picked, like, let's say for a tribe, how much do we pick and stuff like that. Says, well, back in the day, we're pretty organized. We had people that had that purpose of taking care of the land, making sure everything is going good, making sure when we do pick, they're picked the right way when they should be picked, and making sure they're going to grow again next year, the next season. So that's how we were already stewardesses of all this, what was going on, and we already knew that kind of stuff. So and then our elders always telling us, pick as much as you need, never pick more than, because then there's always somebody that needs to pick, or they can grow back, some of that stuff, like, as kids, I'm glad that we got to, that a lot of this stuff were taught to us either as for food or for medicinal purposes, and even ceremonial purposes also. So a lot of this, I'm very thankful, like coming here and seeing all these different people that from different organizations, coming here, discussing things that, that will help this place grow. And I'm pretty proud of William, because it's because of him this is starting. And what we're told is we're about the only ones doing this kind of work. And I'm quite proud of it, because quite a while ago, a lot of people never really thought about me and my brothers. They thought that we'd be, drunks and then die that way. But we changed all that, and then, just for me, like, I never thought I'd become a nurse. I was too much of a guy to even think I was a nurse, to become a nurse, but I'm an LPN. And then at work, I start telling people, if you're interested, there is, there is plants we could use. We've already used sage in the hospital and in home care, and we proved that it works. And then I even proved it to one, a white doctor. He didn't know what to give this patient. He was so much in pain that no matter what he was giving him, it wasn't touching him. And he even asked us, what do you guys suggest? And I told him, well, should we try wild sage? And he told me, wild sage, where do you get that? Is that in your garden? I told him, I don't have a garden. I told him, but we have a whole big garden back out here, just across the road. He says, is that where you can get some? I told him, I got clean sage at home. I can go get some. And while you're doing your rounds, I can go get it and have it prepared, and I'll even show you how to. So I ran home, got it, prepared it. I showed him how it was done, and I showed the person that I was going to use it how to prepare it. And he used it. He didn't have to use pain pills through the whole weekend till he went to the dentist Monday. Took it out, sewed it up, and that was. And then down in Standoff Home Care, what we're using what we were told to use wasn't working. And same thing too, the doctor down in Standoff, I asked her, I told him, can we use this on him? I told him, because what we're using, like, you know, like what the doctor is not working. So what I did was the same thing, wild sage. I just soaked it, and then and I just packed it on and then just wrapped it good. And we pretty much changed it pretty much every day. And then his leg healed. You know, like that kind of stuff. You know, I've seen it work in the hospital and in home care, and you know, and those were the times when they couldn't figure out what else to use. You know, and then and that was one of the first things. One of my first plants was sage, but now I know other plants to use also. So, you know, my library of, you know, having different plants is growing. You know, I learned a lot from him by experience, and other people that wanna come in, help us. And I find everybody's got a different story why they're here, and you know, and how we all connect, you know, in common, you know, knowledge and stuff like that. So there's a lot of people that come here, and what I find here is like a real calming place, a feel-good place, because it wasn't like that a few years back. There was a spell that had to be broken, and we broke it. And once we did, this place started flourishing. But sadly, you know, I think we had to sacrifice the lake for everything else to keep going. I don't know, maybe, but that change, it really showed. You know, you can come here and you can leave really feeling good all the time, because what I'm finding here is that, you know, we all work together. We all have the same thoughts, you know, and then we all work together. We have ideas, you know, we have somebody that could help us, somebody that, you know, there's all different things, that all these different people that come here, and then and non-natives, you know, their knowledge and then their help, everything like that, and they're always willing to help. And then like we do our thing too, and we share our knowledge and stuff like that. Like maybe you'll find somebody that, you know, has a grant that you could use, or, you know, things like that. Somebody that has a, you know, a tractor or something that, you know, they'll come and help you with that. You know, like that's the best way I could, you know, define reconciliation. This is just helping people, you know, from different races, helping each other, just, you know, for a main goal, and, you know, and make a good go of it. You know, all of us, we always seem to have something that if I don't get it, maybe the next person will have an idea, or the next one, and we all use it. But coming here with all these different organizations coming here all for a common goal, it's really good to see, you know, stuff like that working together, and, you know, and help make things work too also. That's the best, you know, what I could say about all this. Good.